Welcome to Truth UnCompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by SourceVibrations.com. I am love. I am peace. I am free. I have abundance. I have everything within me. For I was, for I am, for I always be. We are love. We are peace. We are free. We have abundance. We have everything within us. For we are, for we will always be. For Mother Earth is love. For Mother Earth has peace. For Mother Earth is free. For Mother Earth has abundance. For Mother Earth has everything within her. For she was, for she is, for she will always be. And so it is spoken. So it has been written, and it is done.
All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is January 18th. We have a great show planned for you tonight. The topic of discussion tonight is lies and deception, the hidden history of Mama Earth and us. So before I bring in my lovely co-host, I just want to say, give shout out on that song that I was playing earlier called, the name of the song is Dear President, I Think We Might Be the Shithole. And it is by an independent rapper called Marlon Craft. I got this video, a brother on Facebook dropped it on my page, and we were talking about a particular subject, and I took a listen to it, and I'm like, wow, this kid is really good. So I was looking at the YouTube video and discovered that the kid is Caucasian. So I'm like, well, maybe let me check out a couple of more his videos to make sure that, this is indeed him. And indeed, he's definitely a young Caucasian kid. He doesn't look like he's more than 22, 25. And he has a lot of music out there. All of it is pretty good. Again, his name is Marlon Craft, and that was his response. The name of the song is Dear President, I Think We Might Be in the Shithole. It was a response to Trump card naming off other nations as shithole. So I did want to give our props to him on that. I think he did a good job on that. Okay, so let me bring on my co-host. Here we go. I see Brother Sean. Here we go here. Peace and love, brother.
Greetings, beloved. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I'm well.
Good.
Excited about tonight.
I know, and I wanted to say, I wanted to wait until I brought you on because you were the one that actually gave me the idea for this show, because you sent me the video on the fake pyramids, and you and I talked a couple of times about there are no forests, and I actually talked about it a couple of times on the show as well. So it got me to thinking about how much of the quote history, all of it is basically flat out lies. You know, we can go to the and we're going to talk about that on the physical level, as far as Mama Earth's landscape. You know, of course, we know the spiritual side. They've been bullshitting and lying. You know, the theft of identity, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, you sparked me with those recent videos that you sent me about the pyramids are fake. So I'm really excited about this show tonight.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So let me bring. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Because we can't go by their time frame. We know that they done lied about everything, changed calendars, adjusted the time by hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yeah. Yep. And we're going to talk about that as well. But yeah, it's just mind-boggling when you sit down and start to put it all together and really see how you trust nothing. You trust nothing and go within for everything and do your own research.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me bring on Sis Sandra. Here we go. Greetings, Sis.
Hi, greetings, family. How you doing?
Greetings,
I'm doing well.
Good. How are you, Brother Sean?
Oh, I'm doing well. Good to hear you.
Good. Are we going to have a shout-out of Mr. Wendell? Brother Wendell?
He's actually MIA. Now, in his defense, when I took my little break, well, he gets the emails. That's how he knows that we're having a show. When I put the shows together, I, send him an email. So, I know that he has his own business. He's like an independent contractor. So he probably like, hey, she ain't doing no shows in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to get my little money on. So I did send out a shout out to him, just checking in with him. So I haven't heard back from him. So, hopefully I'll hear from him soon. But I know usually when he's not showing up to the shows, he has some type of job that he's doing. And if I'm not mistaken, I think sometimes he even goes out of town to do them.
Oh, okay. Well, miss him. Yeah. I'm glad about this title. I mean, this is like the Matrix. We need to wake up.
Absolutely. So I want to real quick do a little house cleaning. A shout out to the chat room. I see you here. I don't know why the hell I can't type in there. So sorry about that. I can only use the emoji. I don't know why the hell it will not allow me to type in there. So I am checking it. I just probably won't be able to respond. So I do want to say welcome to you all in the chat room. Okay. All right. And welcome to the rest of the family on the phone as well. Okay, so here we go. And I still have not, I forgot to buy a battery for my damn mouse, so I'm doing everything by hand. Okay, so we're going to start out with, as I was kind of reflecting, putting this show together, I thought of the following. Mama Earth is a living, breathing being that provides life. She is disrespected, neglected, and treated like she is not relevant. But were it not for her, there could be no life. The fact that she is minimized confirms the low frequency in which she has suffered. She has been reduced as an object shaped like a blue ball, although that description of her cannot be verified. She has within her the power of ley lines, which represents her veins. Her heart emits a frequency that displays her aura, which they call Aurora borealis. She has been nicknamed Earth, which is hidden for her heart. She is the matrix that we live in, but yet her story of who she is hidden. Everything in this matrix is an illusion within an illusion, hidden in plain sight. These layers of illusions are created with fake media, fake history, manufactured reality, physical and spiritual wars, all created by beings who are driven by ego. Okay, so we're going to get started. Now, I know how we're going to break the show tonight into segments. We are going to talk about how the hidden history of Mama Earth has taken place. Some of this stuff we've talked about before, but I kind of wanted to bring it all together. So we're going to talk about the Aurora borealis. I've actually played this video before, but it was so powerful that I definitely wanted to share it with the family again, because everybody should know what the Aurora borealis is. It's what they call the Northern Lights. So if you are in Ireland or certain parts of Alaska, you can literally see this emitting of light. It's different colors. Mainly you see the most of it green. But recently there have also been reported, and people have been taking beautiful pictures from the same area, a blast of purple, very purple light. There's even been some pink in there, and I can't think of the other color. Okay. Green. Yeah, green is the main one. Green has always been the known color for what the Aurora borealis is. So, of course, the bullshit explanation that they give with their quote-quote science is bullshit beyond bullshit. But this particular clip that I'm going to play for you, we've played it before, but it's so powerful I wanted to play it again. He is going to go into what that Aurora borealis represents from a physical standpoint from Mother Earth, and what it really means. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Mama Earth's Aurora borealis. And then we're going to get in on something that Brother Sean and I have been talking behind the scenes on, the two things. The first one is, and I've talked about it on this show a couple times also, but I'm actually going to play a lot of the particular documentary. I chopped it up in pieces. We're going to try to get through a lot of it, some of the main points of it. There are no forests. This Russian cat put together this documentary. I'm not going to go into any more details. Totally blew my wig back. You will never look at the landscape of trees and mountains the same after this information is dropped. Then the other thing we need to discuss is the pyramids are fake. Brother Sean sent me this information. I about blew the F over. I'm like, oh my God. So we're going to talk about that. It lines up with a lot of other things. And then we kind of got into it a little, well, not a little bit. We talk about this a lot on and off. We're going to talk about the concept of time itself. So we're going to get into that, and then also touch on just the actual whole switching of identity of the people and spirituality, etc. Okay, so before I go in, did anybody want to put something on anything?
I'm good. We can keep it rolling.
Okay, we're going to keep it moving. Okay, so this clip that I'm going to play, I've played it before, but it's really powerful. It's called Aurora Borealis, and it's off of the YouTube channel Flat Earth Paradise. Now, I do want to put out there, they have a lot of good information on Flat Earth Paradise dealing with spirituality, frequency, and different dimensions. So I would highly recommend this YouTube channel to the family. The only thing is what I don't agree with, and you know, of course, you use your own discernment. At the end, he's trying to get the viewers to do some type of covenant with him. I don't personally subscribe to that. I'm not promoting that. But the information, for the most part of what they put out, I really, really like it. So, again, this is called Aurora Borealis, and it's off of the YouTube channel Flat Earth Paradise. Let me pull the clip. I think it's not that long. I think it's only 15 minutes. And bear with me here. I got to do everything by hand tonight because I forgot to buy a battery for my mouse. So bear with me. Okay. Okay, so while I'm looking for this, here we go. Yep, it's only 12 minutes, family, so here we go.
Hey, thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. Vril is a natural, abundant energy that pervades all planes of existence. The Chinese refer to it as Qi, the Hindu as prana, and the Japanese as Reiki. Albert Pike said of this force, "There is in nature one most potent force, by means whereof a single man who could possess himself of it and should know how to direct it, could revolutionize and change the face of the world." Helena Blavatsky of the Theosophical Society described this Vril energy as an aether stream that could be transformed into a physical force. In the book The Coming Race, Edward Bulwer Lytton explained his encounter with a race of subterranean beings who learned how to master the Vril. They used Vril to heal, to build their societies, and to keep peace among them. It helped them achieve old healthy age, bliss, and contentment. It was harnessed energy that could be used for great purposes or for malice. It can destroy like the flash of lightning, he writes, yet differently applied, it can replenish or invigorate life, heal and preserve. So important a bond between these several communities was the knowledge of Vril and the practice of its agencies. This Vril had also improved all forms of life within the society. Since the Vril light had superseded all other light-giving bodies, the colors of flower and foliage had become more brilliant, and vegetation had acquired larger growth. So everything in this underground civilization was enhanced with the power of the Vril. The Vril Society was shortly formed after the book was published. The Vril were focused not on political and monetary agendas, but on the other side, the hidden forces that power this reality. They were like the hippies of their own time. The Vril maidens did not cut their hair because it helped harness Vril. Many other traditions and cultures have stated that long hair can help raise creative life force, which increases vitality, intuition, and tranquility. Hair is like a spiritual antenna. So this Vril energy has also been known as orgone, odic forces, and the astral light. The ancient Roman re caebile, meaning rolling astral light, is the same force that reigns everywhere. It is the mighty soul of the world, the vibrating substance which forms all creation. These names are talking about the divine feminine energy pouring out from the earth, the mother goddess. The Aurora Borealis is the physical light manifestation of this Vril energy, the astral light. It shoots out of the center hole. It's not always visible, but it's always there, pouring out and filling our plane with this vital energy. In many photos of the aurora, it's clear that there's a singular origin of the light, one focal point where it's pouring out from. On a globe model, it might make sense that what we're looking at is just the light going around the curvature, But as we know, curvature is a myth. Once we see it for what it is, this is a light that's coming out from a source in the distance. This source is the true magnetic north, where there's a vortex where all compasses point to, in which when we pass through, we achieve everlasting life. But we're told there's 3 different North Poles. The geographic North Pole is in the Arctic, marked at the bottom of the sea by a Russian flag. The geomagnetic pole, we're told, is constantly moving due to magnetic changes. In 2001, it was near Ellesmere Island in northern Canada, and now it's somewhere in the Canadian Arctic territory. Then there's the actual North Pole, the pole that our compasses point towards. This magnetic north is said to be about 250 miles away from the geographic North Pole. I know, it's all very confusing. Technically, the North Pole is the South Pole, but let's not go there in this video. It's mostly unimportant. This is yet another drawn-out, overly complex scientific explanation we're given to confuse us and keep us in intellectual circles that seem reasonable but evade the truth. The truth is all compasses point to the magnetic mountain, Mount Meru, at the center of our plane. The 4 rivers that diverge from Mount Meru's location change their motion often, and this is what causes the tides on Earth. When you look on Google Earth and other maps, you find the actual magnetic North Pole is located somewhere in the Arctic Ocean. This is partly true, but they never show land here. There is land here, and there is a sacred mountain. In 1569, Gerhard Mercator made a map of the North Pole showing this magnetic mountain. Ancient Buddhist, Vedic, and Jain cosmologies state that at the North Pole there is a mountain, sometimes in the context of a city called Shambhala. The Puranic and Sumerian traditions speak of a Mount Sumeru. The Turkmen tribes of southern Turkestan spoke of a copper pillar that marked the navel of the earth. The Mongols wrote of Mount Sumer with the Zambu tree on its summit. I could go on, but you get what I'm saying. This mountain is throughout mythology. So these 3 different North Poles I mentioned earlier only exist on the premise that we live on a ball Earth that acts as a ball magnet, that has 2 opposing poles on either side because of a core made of molten metal. The Earth has only been drilled into for 12 kilometers, and nothing can penetrate this distance. So where's the evidence of a core made of molten metal? The evidence has already been established. We live on a flat plane. So we could look at a ball magnet and say the poles on those are just like the poles of our Earth, but that would require making sense of curvature and a non-existent molten metal core. Ring magnets, though, have their north polarity in the center and their south polarity in the outer rim, the exact magnetism of the flat Earth model. What we call Antarctica is this south polarity, being the giant ice wall that extends the circumference of the flat Earth. All compasses point to the center, the north polarity of our plane. This is a photo of the Aurora borealis taken near the South Pole. This one is taken near the North Pole. Side by side, we can extract one thing. We are looking at 2 sides of the same light that's coming from the same source. The North Pole's light is the inverse of the South Pole's. The Lakota Indians used the Aurora borealis for its healing properties. Those who had health problems would stand facing the aurora, hold their hands towards the light, and inhale deeply. The Lapps people would decorate their shamanic drums in order to harness this energy. These people knew about the benefits of this concentrated vril. Again, the Aurora borealis is the visible part of this vril energy, but most of it isn't visually detectable. However, it pervades everything. The black sun emits this vril, this astral light. It indeed shoots out of the center, but it also emanates throughout our plane. It powers nature. It powers us. It's the sacred life force. And the Vril Society claimed this energy came from the black sun. Their symbols show the black sun, oftentimes with a lightning bolt coming out from it. This isn't specific to the Vril, however. The swastika is often intertwined in the black sun symbol. The swastika is found throughout history, and what this actually represents is the vortex we go through when we enter the center of our plane. See how it looks like a spinning vortex? The Zurscheben has been found in Nordic graves, going back 3,000 years. The swastika and black sun is everywhere. The reason the black sun symbol is seen pervading in all directions should be obvious by now. The energy from it is all around us. Our intent directs it. The energy fuels our subconscious, and this is why it's able to be used for good or bad. It's solely based on intent. For instance, when we direct positive energy and love towards plants, they grow faster and with more strength. And this is because our prana, our vril, our intent, is aligned with nurturing principles. The Babylonians called Bab-Ilu the gate of God. Many say Bab-Ilu is where we get the word Babel from, hence the story of the Tower of Babel. And the Tower of Babel, as I explored in previous videos, is synonymous with Mount Meru and the vortex beyond it. Bab-Ilu, again, is the gate of God, the gateway into another world. In this piece of text I found, it says, "The sun enters Bab-Ilu, or the gate of God, at the winter solstice, and starts his journey northward. During the solstice, the sun spins in and out of the center hole, into this gate of God, and then begins its journey north from its lowest point in the sky. This is why the winter solstice contains the longest nighttime of the year." On the top of the page, we see the cross of the Ilu. There's 8 lines emanating from it. This is similar to the ancient 8-rayed symbol of the Nibiru. This symbol represents a gateway, just like the cross represents the gate of God. The Mayan Great Celestial Conjunction shows an 8-pointed star as well. We have the Dharma Wheel, which represents Nirvana. It's easy to overthink these symbols, but they're all telling us the gateway to God, to heaven, to Nirvana is at the center of our plane. This is the Babylonian black sun symbol, showing 8 lines. We have the Mesopotamian sun symbol, we have the ancient Shamash, and many more. And we even see 8 lines emanating from the inside of CERN. In the book Ether, God, and Devil and Cosmic Superimposition, Wilhelm Reich describes the connection between orgone, another name for vril, and the Aurora borealis. He also says, orgone energy can be demonstrated everywhere. Accordingly, it penetrates everything. Check out the cover of the book. My opinion is that the illustration shows a black sun pointing energy upward. In The Astrolight by Louise A. Off, the astrolight is said to be the immortal spirit, the originator of cosmic life. In the present age, our science informs us. We perceive in the main only the lowest vibrations and inferior qualities of the astral light, because we are in the lower arc of our present cycle, and the energy of the life wave is at its ebb. Blavatsky says of Plato's method of expression that he divides the intellectual progress of the universe during every cycle into fertile and barren periods. When those circulations take place in harmony with the divine spirit, our earth and everything pertaining to it enjoys a fertile period. The occult powers of plants, animals, and minerals magically sympathize with its superior natures, and the divine soul of man is in perfect intelligence with these inferior ones. Ignoring our latent inherent forces, we drift in negative submission to the lower laws of nature, suffer deprivation, want of thought, emotion, and volition, while the precious fluid, in mute anticipation, haunts our dreamless sleep and awaits the dawning of a higher consciousness. This is an eerily beautiful passage, and it's telling us man is currently in tune with the destructive aspects of the astral light, of the vril, and nature has all along been in tune with the empowering aspects, much of which we don't detect because we vibrate at different frequencies. This is one way of answering the age-old dilemma: why doesn't man seem to blend in with his environment? We are currently on the way out of this barren cycle, and I can feel it. The age of Aquarius. These energies are on the rise, and this may be why the powers that be more than ever are trying to infiltrate our minds and hearts with as much toxicity as they can. I won't get into the accounts of concentrated vril being used by the reptilians, but know that vril is being used against us at the current moment. We can fight this misuse of vril, however, with our intent. Intent redirects this vril. By letting go and being the observer, by living from our heart, connecting with the energies around us and our own, we can start rediscovering the vril. Compared to the uses in the coming race, even the greatest of ascended masters have only touched the tip of the iceberg that is the power of the vril. Thank you for watching. Hope you're all doing great. I love you all.
Okay, family. So, again, that video was called Aurora Borealis, and that was off of the YouTube channel Flat Earth Paradise. Before Sis and Brother Sean, you put something on it, 248. We have a caller in queue. They've been sitting there for quite a while. I didn't see him before I played the video, so Let me bring them on. Hold your thoughts, and then we'll come back for you to put something on it. So 248, your line is open.
Sis. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you, beloved?
I'm fine. Are you hearing me clearly?
I sure am.
Oh, good, good. I got you on speaker. I just wanted to be sure. Thanks for taking the call. You know, I have been a little upset because I've been trying to get the show from the last two shows off of YouTube, because usually about a week after you post them up, and I'm able to play them for my aunt.
Yeah,
well,
I'm behind.
When I go there, it says no content. This channel has no content. So all your videos from like the last couple of months have been wiped out.
Okay, I have to
Did
go
you know
check.
that?
No, I have to go check. I haven't been there
for
about a month.
You know, they've been doing crazy stuff on Google and YouTube and stuff and Twitter. They have been shadow banning people. If you put too much truth out there, they just make your stuff disappear. Now, I don't know if that's what happened or not, but I know that, you had a powerful, about 3 weeks ago and 2 weeks ago, powerful show. And I was looking forward to hearing it again. And me and 2 or 3 other of the ladies, we were talking about it. And I went to find it. And it says, this is like you're a brand new channel. They haven't put anything up. The only other stuff that's there is stuff that's like from last year. But in terms of the stuff that the recent shows that you have done, they're just not there. And it says this channel has no content.
Wow, that's YouTube for you. That's why I don't necessarily trust them. Hell, you really can't trust any of it.
Because I would never go back on Facebook.
Yeah, you really can't trust any of them. So, you could go to Blog Talk and get them, and you can download them and play it that way. Yeah,
okay.
You can definitely go to Blog Talk, go to the archives, and you can actually download it and play it in your MP3 player. However you want to do that, but yeah, I hadn't had a chance to get the last 2 shows uploaded, so I didn't even know they did that. But it doesn't surprise me, because when I was doing some research in a couple of the channels that I listen to on a regular basis, a lot of their content had gotten wiped out too, and I'm like, well, yeah, there they go with that bull crap. Yeah, so it's not.
You onto some powerful stuff and some true stuff anytime they feel like they got to do that. In case you had any doubts about, is this the case? Hey, they just told you right there. You really on to it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it, sis. Thank you for letting me know. So,
Maybe
it is what it is.
I appreciate you too, and it has just been so good until I
appreciate it.
Enjoying.
Okay. Well, thank you, beloved. You have anything else on your mind?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Okay, Brother Sean, what were you saying?
I just went to the page. It's there. Maybe they just have her blocked.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they just cutting you off.
Wait a minute. Now, so you're saying that the show from like 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago and even last week, they're there?
No, I haven't uploaded those. Yeah, I haven't uploaded those yet. So that's understandable.
Okay. So then the 2018. Okay, but what about 2017? You see stuff from all of 2017?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm wondering
they
what
might just be at you, sis. They might just be trying to cut you off.
Yeah, what you do, sis?
I got something for them if they're going to play games with me.
Because
I already have been saying I think I wanted to get rid of my smartphone because of the, the EMFs and at nighttime and just sometimes I'll get headaches. Sometimes, my hand will get numb. And And you know, I'm just like, well, I want to get this stuff out of my house, the Wi-Fi and the smartphone and all of that, and just go low. You know, because I have some health concerns, you know, and I don't think that this helps them. But if they're going to play with me now and I can't get half the stuff I go to get, you know, I go on Twitter and I hear they're doing this thing, this shadow banning thing, and then a lot of the YouTube channels that I go to, you know, the people are complaining about being demonetized and about their content
I've heard
being
about
removed.
that.
And I said, well, shoot, you're going to play them kind of games. Don't you understand that we are the consumers and that you derive your money from us? And so now if people won't take their content elsewhere, and if people will purchase from other than those that advertise on, you know, your medium, well, you know, y'all can go bye-bye. But some other good stuff happening anyway, because this Jack Dorsey, who I guess is the executive for Twitter, he just got indicted for something.
What?
It's a bunch of them, and Google's Eric Schmidt stepped down. And so, you know, it's some things is coming down. It's really, really going down. So maybe things will get better in, you know, short term, hopefully.
Their time
but
is
I just didn't know that they had put the two up. I thought that maybe they taken them down because, you know, usually you'll have them up by the next week or so.
Yeah. I'm about 2 weeks behind, but you know, back to you with the EMT signals and all of that. Dr. Blair had been teaching for years about the diode, and I'm actually wearing his diode right now on my left wrist. So, because I used to buy a lot of his products, and he had this one diode plaque that you could sit your groceries on, and I tested it one time. I had two people test it. One person, y'all gonna crack up, put they herb on there. They came back to me and said,
why not?
Oh man, you know what?
I love Dr. Blair, and I wish I would. I was always broke. I mean, I did good to pay to get into the lectures most of the time, but then, and I always meant to get some of his stuff, and then I went onto the website, and when I had the money, they was having some technical difficulties with the website, and then, but I ended up getting some stuff that's similar, but probably not nearly as good.
Crystal's good.
Yeah, I got
that's what
purple Tesla
Corley
flag.
was telling me. Sis Corley was telling me a quartz, and I actually, Sis Corley, I bought a quartz with the diode on it from Dr. Blair. It's literally all around my neck, and the pink crystals. So
okay. Is the medicine still open?
Yeah, it actually is. Dang, I can't think of the brother's name. But he definitely passed it down. I think that they're still selling the products. That one plaque I was telling you about that you could sit your food on. They're not selling that no more, and it broke my heart because mine got mysteriously lost. Broke my heart, but that plaque was really good. Too, but check out diodes. Pure copper. I think Sis Sandra, it was you that said put the LP. I say LP. Y'all know what I mean. You know us old school. Y'all know exactly what I mean. The record.
The wax.
Brother Sean said the LP. Yeah, the vinyl.
The wax.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wax.
That's a crystal. Crystal also absorbs that the radiation, the cellular electricity. That's what it is. It absorbs that.
The electromagnetic frequencies.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
And you know they're doing a lot of that now because their time is up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's not gonna work because we got so much stuff to combat that. But if you put that vinyl on against the wall, of the one that your electric meter is, you cool in the game. So, you know, you don't have to, you know, throw out your technology or whatever because, you know, remember, whatever tricks they have up they so-and-so sleeve, Mama Earth got a remedy for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just need to use it. So, yeah, I do know that the diodes, and I forgot about the crystals, thanks to this Coily. You're right, because I literally actually have 2 crystals around my neck. So, yeah, you definitely don't have to suffer. And, yeah, the Meta Center is still open. Tony, that's his name. Tony is running it, and he's still selling a lot of Dr. Blair's products.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that, too. Yeah.
Okay, sis.
Continues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sis. Peace and love.
Everyone have a great evening.
You too. Okay. Yeah, I got to get those 2 videos up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead on, brother.
Sister Corley was telling me that the CEO from Twitter stepped down because they got him about, you know, deleting Trump's tweets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shooky now. That's interesting. So he was deleting Trump card's tweets. Yeah, that's wrong now. He's straight wrong for that.
They know Trump ain't playing with them. He don't like the media anyway.
No.
They're doing a lot of infighting right now because their energy level
they are.
has gone whacked on them, and they can't seem to figure out what it is. But this energy that Mother Earth is putting out that's making them batty.
Yes. And that kind of brings us back to the video that we just played with that Aurora borealis. And when it finally clicked with me what that actually meant, I'm like, wow, that is literally Mother Earth's energy center, her chakra system. That's literally what that is. And it had never, ever registered with me. And then that black sun, and Brother Sean, I remember distinctly. Remember when we had the eclipse? Late 2017? And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty damn sure you said that you felt that was the black sun.
Indeed.
Okay, I thought that's what you said. So when I started, we did a show on the black sun, but I got to thinking about it more and more because if you do a little research on the black sun, that is really the energy power source that really powers the regular sun. Okay, and it's supposedly it's like hidden. Some say it's like underneath, and then it comes out at certain times, and that's when the eclipse happens, and that's why it's such a big thing, those particular eclipses, and that's why us, you know, as divine beings during those time frames, we are also supposed to be taking advantage of that and putting your intent to get the things that you want to manifest and create. So anyhow, when I was thinking about all of that as we, I was preparing this show, I said, you know what? Everything that Mother Earth has, we mirror on the physical. So we just talked about her aura. Each and every one of us as divine beings, we also have an aura. That's your whole chakra system that we talked about, and the outline of your body. If they were to put ultraviolet light upon you, they can tell what particular aura or color, that's what aura means, that outline of your body, that color that's around you. That based on that color, they can tell what your vibratory state is also, okay? That's no different than Mama Earth, Aurora borealis, physically displaying those particular colors. Now they're saying that recently she's been emitting. I don't want to know if you want to say violet or purple. Okay, so we should all know, be familiar with the chakra colors and their meanings, their states as energy centers, and that violet represents your third eye. That's higher consciousness. Okay, so that would also line up with what we have been saying with the vibratory rate of the planet, aka the vibratory rate of Mama Earth, is rising because we are in a new age, the age of Aquarius, which would be higher vibrations. Okay, so that black sun, I thought about that, Brother Sean. I think, now this is just Rhonda's little lonely opinion, this don't mean anything. I think that black sun is Mama Earth's black dot or her melanin. One of the most powerful forces that drives everything. Just like each and every one of us has the black dot melanin, which is they also call the seat of the soul, that makes you that internal being as well. So I'll pause in case somebody want to put something on that.
You doing good?
Sorry about that. Okay, sorry, I had to take a sip of water. Okay, I have another 661. I don't know if that's Sis that switched up. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. Sis, I'm not sure if this is you. Let me do it again. 661.
Peace and love, sister.
Oh, peace and love.
Peace and love. I was going off of your topic that you were just speaking of. What it actually reminded me of, it reminded the eclipse. It reminded me of the Eye of Osiris.
Mhm.
And how it passed through. And since they said it comes every so many years, maybe this was the depiction of the ancients when they were talking about the Eye of Osiris. And so they call it eclipse now. You know, maybe that was a switch up over time, but that's what it looked like. I've seen many different angles of it, and when it happened, I didn't even want to be around it because the energy was so bad from it. My spirit was picking up negative energy from it. And then I seen photos from people that had those like real advanced photo cameras, and there was certain foods coming out of the sun. There were vials. You can see the vials and the images that were coming out of it. It wasn't just leaving a trail of anything good. It was like, you know, there's like in the scriptures, even though people try to delay the scriptures or try to say that the Bible doesn't exist, but it kind of reminded me of those vials of the testaments, where the Most High was talking about that He's going to send these vials unto man and the angels, blah blah. So if you really look real close at it, it was actually showing that imagery, and then it actually disappeared, and it looked just like the islands of Osiris. So with that in mind, Osiris is the key to life and death. Ever since that eclipse came, destruction has came. A lot of destruction has came, and it's actually intensified since that eclipse has actually left. So that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just what I was going with.
You know, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
I like to add what I think is the sun went out that day, and have totally gone to the simulators now. Hence all this frozen territory we got going on. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube where they're showing the simulators are malfunctioning. The sun, like we've always been saying, is going down in the wrong spots. You know, rising in the rising in the wrong side. I say, all these years people been looking at this sun. They don't know what the sun used to do and where it used to come up.
And they act like they don't, sis. Everybody's like, la da 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 da. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, they were going out there viewing that, and I heard from a few native tribes. They said don't go out there, look at it, don't be around it because it brings off bad energy and negative vibes to you. They also said that some people will start going crazy if they go out there and view the sun, and they have historical evidence of it happening to people, and then people still went out there and viewed that thing. I did not like the energy thing.
I sure was there. I was there. I sure
Yeah, but you got the melanin, honey.
Right. So I guess the point I wanted to make with that, again, with anything that comes out, and we've talked about this several times, as the vibration of the planet raises, you're going to have a lot of people that's not going to be able to handle it because they're not on the necessary frequency.
Right.
So sure, it's going to be death and destruction, because if the planet has moved on, which she has, and she's going to continue to move on, and if we are moving on with her, you're not going to turn around and stop and get back on a certain lower frequency with the majority or the masses.
Right.
So either you're going to be on the right frequency to go on, or you'll stay stuck and go stark raving mad or witness the madness. I mean, it's really that simple. If you are, raising your vibration to the level that you are supposed to, then none of that other crap about, folks releasing this and releasing that, and I'm not denying that they aren't releasing it. But if you're on a high frequency, it's not impacting you. So that's what's going on. Because, they put out a lot of stuff telling people, don't go out there, don't do. I was there front center with my legs crossed, had my intentions. But it's a vibrational energy thing.
That wasn't the experience that I was experienced by hearing their mouth and their opinions. My energy level was so intense that a week before it even came, I was having odd dreams. And so when it came, it had almost that same effect. So I pretty much tuned into the universe by using my spiritual kinetic sense, if you want to use that term, and my energy levels did not want to be around that thing. It was like, I know they were saying go ahead and view it. Maybe people were positive about it, but my spiritual level was saying no. I felt that there was. Go ahead.
I said, "Oh, okay. I'm hearing you."
Yeah, like I wasn't. I heard over after the fact, but I felt it that day. It wasn't like somebody just got in my ear and said, "Don't look at it." My spirit said, "Don't do it," and I didn't. Some people's spirit said, "Do it."
That's okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. That's okay. If that's what your inner self told you, hey, knock yourself out. It's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you're doing it because that's what you felt to do versus what somebody else is kicking out. Because you may handle the energy rush different than how I handle it. But just recognize, just kind of be aware when you're kind of feeling like that anxious feeling, like something to jump off. Try to take a little inventory and enter and understand that is the vibration frequency changing, going higher. okay? Because even me, some days I feel like I'm jumping out of my skin, and then I have to bring it back down and say, okay, I know what's going on. Or I'll get headaches, and a lot of us, some of us, I mean, we can literally just text each other saying, do you have a real bad headache? Some of us will get migraines like exactly the same time. And we know that it's an energy frequency thing of the raising of the vibration. So, yeah, it's nothing wrong with you doing what you felt was best for you regarding that eclipse. But it was all about a rush of energy coming in and how you chose to take advantage of it or not take advantage of it, if that makes sense.
Right. Right, and yes, those headaches are tough.
Oh, yeah.
Man, whew.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but nope, you good, beloved. You on the right track. At least you feeling something. You know, think of the masses that are not in tune like they're supposed to be at all. So all of this erratic behavior, all of the lewdness that's going on that's put before them, just like Sis just mentioning, the sun going down in different location, the moon flip-flopping upside down, zigzagging, and they ain't noticing shit. That's bad.
How about the fact that the sun is white?
You know what? Don't even go there. I have literally captured. I have video cameras around my entire house. I have captured the goddamn simulator. Brother Sean, you and I talked about it. I captured it. You see the shit clear as day. It's a little black dot in the middle of it.
They're little lamps. They have a patent in the 1960s. They patent for the simulator.
Yeah, and I'm like, ain't nobody paying attention. It's not even shaped round no more. Some
don't even have rays
like,
coming out of it anymore.
No, and you know you could just feel when it's on because you sit out in it and it's like it burns you. It like burns your flesh a little bit, and you're like, this is damn ridiculous. But most people they don't recognize it.
Right. You know that Zuma satellite that they tried to launch was to cause more EMGs or EMPs. What do they call them? EMPs. They wanted to do that with that Zuma, but they had to have launched those sun simulators via satellites, and those satellites are programmed to go up and down, you know, with the time.
Right.
But
with the time, as the sun rises and sets. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they obviously are real young, okay, and they don't know.
Well,
they don't know.
We talking about folks our age, though, sis. It's like they don't recognize the damn thing, and you like, really? You don't remember when the sun was like yellow, orangish, cute? You don't remember none of that.
Wow. And now it's just a brown ball.
Are we living in the time of demolition? Are we living in the time of Demolition Man?
Did you know that movie just came with Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, everything was all simulations.
Sure was. That movie just came on last week. I didn't have a chance to watch it, but that's interesting.
Yeah, that it was already letting us know that everything we were doing was simulated. Not in some people. It was already going on.
Already letting us know. That's interesting. You know, I'm not sure if, and we were going to talk about this next week because Brother Black is actually coming on the show next week. And so we were going to get into current events and, get caught up on what he was doing, etc. But I know you all heard about the flash in the sky that happened. What was it, 2 days ago?
In Michigan.
In Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
So, they showed where the sky lit up, right? And then they said they felt the ground shake, whatever. And so then they were trying to say that it was little miniature earthquakes or tremors behind that.
What?
Yeah, so now it gets a little deeper, because then a brother had posted where people had taken pictures of the sun before the meteor situation had happened.
Mhm.
They took a picture of the sun, and a light was shining down directly into the sun. This was before that flashlight tremor thing happened. So the thing that freaked me out about that picture, because I saw the exact same thing with now this was the real sun, because I know the damn difference between the real sun and the sun simulator. The real sun was out one day last year, when I, would get up early to be out and about, and that exact same, it was a beam of light coming down directly into the real sun. So I don't know what's going on. Brother Sean just emailed me Black Lightning. Yeah, that's supposed to be coming on CW, I think.
Yeah, that new.
Yeah, that may have something to do with it. So yeah, we're saying all that to say that it is a lot of things going on within Mama Earth. A lot of it will have to do with folk trying to manipulate the matrix to keep a hold on keeping it in a certain vibratorial state, and that's a low state. But regardless of all that they're trying to do, the other phenomenon, on the other hand, is Mama Earth is steady ascending. And that's when you're going to keep feeling all of these particular energy centers all over the place, because the energy is changing. And how you react to it depends on where you are from a vibration / spiritual state. Okay, but good point, brother. Good point. Thanks for putting something on the eclipse. So did you want to stay on? I can leave your line open and you could just put something on it when you want to, or I can put you back on mute. Totally up to you.
Oh, I can stay on. I'm off today. I can stay on.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. I'll leave you open. Okay, so I'm sorry. Did anybody else have anything they want to put on the Aurora borealis before we move on?
Oh, you know what? I didn't know about the brill, but then I said I know the name, but Tesla was the one who invented electricity without wires, and they was greedy ones decided to take his inventions and put him out of his misery. And and the Tesla's machines and stuff is, I guess Elon Musk done taken over that. They're like I said, they said it's just energy, right? That's what the man said. Mm-hmm. And energy doesn't matter. It doesn't care who uses it. It's intent. And so we on this planet have been subject to the negative intent. And I believe Mother Earth is tired of this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and some of the people from the fires are really upset because they're saying that it was lasers beings from the
fire. Yeah, I heard that.
That and with the smart meters that they use to burn up their places. Now that's what they're saying. I ain't got nothing to do with it, but And if they're harnessing that energy in such a negative fashion, well, they believe that they're trying to level the playing fields between the rich and the poor. So because there was
because and you speaking of the fires, you talking about the California fires, right?
Yes. Yes. That is
interesting, sis.
That's an agenda that's out there by NASA.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
That's the agenda that they say. But then after that came the floods.
Well, that's weather wars.
In that same area. So was it them who actually used that fire, or was it the Most High who used that fire and did what he or she had to do, and then flooded out the land?
You know what, brother? It's very interesting that the point that you just made, and sis, that you just brought that up, because when those fires were jumping off, it just crossed across my mind a little bit, when maybe I shouldn't have been like this, but whatever. When it was like really the ultra rich, and anybody that knows that West Coast, you should pretty much know that particular area. You have to definitely have some change to live there, and most of the people that, if not all of them, are in the entertainment space, part of that, Hollywood, either the multimillionaire personality in the movies, Oprah, either in the movies or television, or the really, really big money that employs the Oprah and all of that. So when I heard about the supposedly lasers, and some people did, now I don't know if they manufactured the videos. I'm like you, sis. I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't know if they manufactured them, but some people show those flash of lightning, and it looked like lasers coming in, and then all of a sudden fires set. But what flashed through my mind, I said, somebody's trying to clear that land.
Yep.
That was the very first thing that came to my mind when the fires hit. Then now it came with the floods and the mudslides, and it was like finishing off the rest. I said, yeah, somebody's trying to clear that land, and I don't know why this came to mind, that something about an earthquake came in my spirit, that something really big about to jump off in California, and for whatever reason, that land needs to be cleared, and it definitely could be just a frequency vibration thing of taking it back, but that's just my 2 cents.
In war, when you've lost your battle, like a stronghold you were holding, they usually torch and destroy everything, so that your enemy, when they come in after you, have nothing to live off of. And when you said that, it reminded me of war and the debt. The debt, and how China owns a lot of property.
Oh, that's sis. You started something, because China
and California has to be one of the places they own a lot of.
Yes, they own. As a matter of fact, they own that port. They own the
Oh, LA port. Yeah.
Yeah, the LA, and then what's the other one? Long Beach.
Long Beach.
They
own
the Long Beach
port.
Yeah, Long Beach and LA. So that's interesting, because China just late last week was talking cold cash shit. And
they own that debt.
Yeah, because they told the U.S., we not buying no more of your debt, this, that, and the third. So they had already put a warning out that they're not going to finance the U.S. anymore. So, yeah, and coincidentally, isn't the government shutdown scheduled to happen tomorrow if they don't, quote, quote, pass another raising of the ceiling. So yeah, that very well could be an explanation, also from a physical perspective, but I always like to look at it from both angles, the physical and the spiritual perspective. It's a cleansing. So it don't matter if Trump card, China Nim, whoever, it does not matter. It is a cleansing happening across this planet.
Right.
Mama Earth, she not putting up with the bullshit. The prison time is up.
It's the destruction of the Mongoloids. They run off of frequency. Mm-hmm. And anyone with that DNA may have a lot of problems coming their way because the frequency changed when we entered into Aquarius.
Yes. Yes. So what do you consider Mongoloid? Because you know they've been
there's two types. There's two different. There's
everybody.
Mm-hmm. Right. There's two types from what I read in the book. Maybe some other ones that they made up. Whatever. Mm-hmm. They have the Asian Mongoloid and the European Mongoloid.
Mm-hmm. The Khans.
The Khans. Yes. Yes. Genghis Khan's folk. And those people are the ones running with the same. They run because, see, what it is, they came up against us and took us down by using their frequency of joining together. Now, their frequency of joining together has become their enemy. And now their time has to expire because the frequency has changed and we entered into a time where it's time for our people to take over.
Right.
And they have to come down. Even if they do get the bill passed tomorrow, they still got until February again. See, the Most High is treating them like they treating us. Now they can't pay their bills.
You know, now that's a damn good point. Right, right. Your lights gonna get shut off. You done got the little notice. You don't know how the hell you gonna pay it. They send a second one. You still ain't got the money to MF pay it. So that's a very good point.
Right. So when people want to say that the Bible's altered, yeah, they've been altered, but he also said they're gonna be utterly destroyed just like we were. You know, they came here in our calamity. Now they're going to fall under their own calamity and their own wicked behavior because it's not their time anymore. They had the time. The course is up. I mean, they keep trying to hold on, just throw in the towel and just give it up, but they won't do it because it's in their DNA.
And it doesn't matter. And you know, again, it is an energy frequency thing. So don't nobody give no damn about how much money you have, you know, what type of power you supposedly have. And this even goes to the melanated folks also. You have the gift of melanin, but that don't mean if your shit ain't together, if you vibrating low and you're participating in suppression and holding the vibratorial rate down, the misuse of the planet, the misuse and abuse of your fellow brothers and sisters, your ass is out too. If you've done dirt to help keep this system at such a low vibrational state, you got to pay the piper too. So don't think that because you have melanin that you're going to be with your legs crossed, because you don't even qualify from a vibration standpoint to make it. Hell, the Caucasian that at least tries to do the right thing to the best that they can will make it before your crooked ass will make it. So let's be real clear and keep it in perspective also. This is an energy thing. If you're not on the right frequency, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So very, very good point.
Sure. If
Hey,
anything,
sure thing, Brother Sean.
if anything, the melanated beings are going to get it first. It's not about them too. We the reason all this shit is going on to begin
True
with.
that. True
We're
that.
not going to keep placing blame on inferior beings that we created.
Right, because we are the parents. That's right.
We have to take full responsibility for everything. And what people have to realize, without fear involved, Mother ain't coming back to play. This divine feminine energy ain't here to coddle or cuddle nobody.
Yep,
Period.
I agree with that.
There has to be complete and total destruction of this
Agreed.
patriarchal system. Period. So there's going to be casualties, like in any and every war. The thing is, where you gonna be at in this war? What side you gonna be on? I mean, what you still trying to play around down here, or you trying to get up out of here with Mother? She raising her frequency to get up out of here. Anything that don't belong is gone. Period.
That's right. That is absolutely right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
We got to do what we're supposed to do. Period. It ain't about nobody else. Can't nobody hold you down if you don't let hold you down.
That's right.
So I don't give them any power. Period. They ain't doing nothing we don't let them do. And right now, they're infighting. So we do what we're supposed to do. They learn from us. So we just sit back, wait for the right opportunity, and do what we're supposed to do. Period.
Absolutely.
And also, we don't know who up there in California being targeted with their infighting. We don't know which families was targeted. Everybody else is just casualties. And
it is like a mafia war, ain't it?
Yeah, but it's happening on a spiritual level too, because they know what day to do these things on. Their rituals.
Oh, you know, they did that stuff up there too. You know that what's that place up there? Bohemian Grove. All them children's sacrifices I heard about.
Yep. Absolutely. So, very good point, Brother Sean. And I know some people, if you're thinking, well, what am I supposed to be doing? You are supposed to be raising your vibration. Go within. It's all about you. You want to see a change? You have to make the change. You make the change with your thoughts, with your intent, with your action. So, very, very good point, Brother Sean. Very, very good point. Okay, so I do want to make sure that we get to there are no forests. So this particular documentary, the version that I'm going to play, is off of the YouTube channel called Buddy Higgins. And what they did, they took the original Russian Cats video, because the original is out there, but his accent is kind of thick because, you know, Russian is his native tongue. So I didn't want to play the original version and you all couldn't understand them. But this particular channel, YouTube channel, Buddy Higgins, they just literally translated what the Russian dude had put out there. So this is called "There Are No Forests on Earth. Wake Up." So I'm saying that, and now I got to find the video. So hold on a second. All right. One of these days.
It kind of sounds like we're going to get some survival skills going on. No forest, no ground to grow nothing in.
No, this is something a little different. So I'm going to play the first 15 minutes, and then I'm going to stop it this blew back my wig. This is going to be something totally different than what you think it is, because you're going to look at Mama Earth's landscape differently, and you're going to start to see what really happened and how it plays into the fall to a lower state vibration, okay, and how everything is coming back full circle and getting better. So it's going to be a little bit different. So here we go. Let me shut up and get it on so we'll have time.
There are no forests on Earth. When you read this headline out loud, even with the exclamation mark at the end, every sensible person will say that I'm out of my mind, and you will want to show me tons of photos with images of forests. I want you to believe that this is another trick. They make us think that this is a forest, when you actually are looking at 30-meter bushes. This is total bullshit and nonsense, you will say to me. Of course we know what forests look like, because we've all walked in them. Well, I expect that's how you will react, and that's fair. But after watching this video, its headline won't seem so strange to you, because you will reverse your concept of forests by 360 degrees. And now, first things first. We will begin with a well-known picture. Children see 9 dolphins on it, but adults see 2 lovers. A huge difference, don't you think? Try to see dolphins on it and see how hard it is. Feminine fruities just won't transform into dolphins for most adults. And that's funny because it's the opposite for kids. There is only one picture, but we see it completely differently. What is more, children and adults can't exchange perceptions. Why is this the case? It is simple. Eyes see the way the Matrix ordered them to, but that's not the way the real world looks. Our eyes become traitors over time. We were blinded while in childhood. The outward world is quite different. We see things through a prism of habit and experience. And this prism distorts everything completely. At 30 years of age, this prism works to protect your mind. And at 40, you could go crazy without this prism. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Look at this photo. I'm claiming that it is from a mesa that was formed from a magmatic melt from the Earth's depths about 200 million years ago. You think I'm out of my mind? Maybe you're out of your mind. You will understand soon. We'll come back to this plot of grass later. For now, remember how we bumped into this old stump. Sometimes humans even try to take photos trying to hug the unhuggable trunk of a tree. But really, think about it. Old trees are a rarity. They are all registered, they are tracked, and are being kept in reserves, like memorials of nature. There is an uproar on the internet about forests. Why all forests on the earth, even in Siberia, are not older than 200 years old? Where are all the giants? It is right that the people are in an uproar about it, but I want to look at the problem from another angle, from the side of the Earth's poles. The thing is that even Soviet biologists found strangeness in the poles, and unnatural amounts of water kept in the ice and snow. And there's an unnatural percentage of carbon dioxide in the world's oceans. This abnormal concentration tells us exactly about a worldwide fire of the past. Using simple math, those scientists come to the conclusion that those fires carried away 99% of the Earth's biosphere. We all know that living cells consist of hydrogen and carbon, so the ice on the poles are made mostly from water, from burned organisms. And now, think about this number, 99%. It means that everything that now grows, crawls, flies, swims, and runs on the Earth is 20,000 times less in volume than before this catastrophe. 20,000 times. To imagine this, look at this picture. This piece of bread is humans, plants, animals. Just this pathetic small piece of bread on this large transport truck represents Earth's biosphere before those times. I hope you understand that today's myth of overpopulation is just pure hoax and nonsense. 100%. But here's the problem. Biologists divided this number between all the continents and only calculated into this figure the dry land, not all the ice and snow that is on the Earth. And there's a lot of snow and ice. Fact is fact. But as always, illumination can come suddenly, and stereotypical thinking is to blame. 30-meter tall forests are like a virus that takes over both our brains and especially the brains of biologists, which prevent us from finding a solution to this problem. If plants can't fit broadwise, then we should fit them upwards, and then it should make sense. In this new theory, hypothetical forests of unthinkable height were drawn. And here's the thing. We found these old photos. This is the vandalous felling of the sequoias in the California redwood between 1880 and 1920. These trees miraculously survived the planet's bombardment in 1816. Just imagine how many years this tree needs to grow to these sizes. Then these terrible men come with saws and axes. 1, 2, and no more tree. In proportion of this tree, we can see a rule. The diameter of the stump is 3 times bigger than the woodcutter's or feller's growth. Let's look at this formula. You just think about it. You are entering a forest that is not usually 30 meters, but 100 meters. Here are your fairy forests from fairy tales and books. Forests that are lost because of such barbarians. I understand that they are just wage workers, and they must feed their families, that this is just an order from above. But if every single woodcutter refused to carry out these criminal orders, all the forests would be saved, because their demon bosses are too arrogant to do it with their own hands. And that is why I will send these merry woodcutters' defenders to a well-known place. Look at this photo carefully. They look like satanic bacteria that want to kill the forest organism. For those who think that trees were killed just because of wood materials, I want to dispel your claims. Trees are energy generators. They produce constant electricity, oxygen from photosynthesis, food. They have a root network and are programmed to exchange data. Our ancestry had a theory that trees are programmed to keep data from everything on the planet and save it in their information portal in their carbon fibers. I do not know the reason, but some sequoias that these vandals left alive even put a fence around it and called it a wildlife sanctuary. Of course, park guides will tell you tales from the crypt. How in this stupid Zoic era, stupid soars scratched their booty on the old sequoias of California. Let's summarize everything. Remains of the giant trees of the past are found, and homeless ice and snow of the poles took their place in the mosaic. It seems like everything is clear, but it is not. Nothing is so simple. If we take myths and legends of all nations, you can find lots of stories about people, animals, and plants morphing into stone. This is normal because paleontologists all over the world dig petrified fossils of humans, animals, and plants. There are so many of them that old museums are overfilled with petrified fossils of clovers, frogs, lizards, pieces of dinosaurs, and so on. Frogs and clovers are fine, but what about the forests? Guys, where are the trees? Old sequoias of California do not fit here because they are made of carbon. It means they are not related to the Silicon era. Why do I know this? First off, they were cut and sawed by standard instruments. All axes and saws would break if they had to cut silicon. So where are the silicon trees, if those giants from carbon are not related to the Silicon era? Guess what? They were found. Guess where? In the same North America, in Arizona to be precise. Ah, this zone of the Aryans. There are so many things going on there. The giant quarry that is now called the Grand Canyon. Like one person under the nickname Wake Up Human said, it is an apogee of the cynicism to name quarry waste as a national park. It is not a national park. It is just a quarry. And think what the ancient Russian word's root kolo is doing in the opposite part of the world. And the root ra, I won't even mention. Here is the city of Aryans, from which left only the vortex that made Hooligan meteorite 50,000 years ago. That's how Wikipedia is telling us it's total bullshit. Oh, and by the way, here are our silicon trees. I wanted to introduce to you the museum under the open sky. Petrified trees here are just scattered in the desert and also fenced. Everyone today can visit this circus called Petrified Forest National Park. In this park, petrified fossils are not common. They are unique. If turtles and frogs were petrified in pale gray boulders, then this trees morphed into semi-precious stones. Beautiful stones, aren't they? It is time to take stock. All our forests are young and do not grow higher than 30 meters. Remains of fairy forests were found in the sequoias of California, and biologists put poles of ice and snow in its place. We found petrified fossils of the silicon era and trees from precious gems. Now everything fits together, right? Or no? In a perfect world, everything fits. In our cursed hell, nothing fits. Since that time, when I was a kid and I saw petrified fossils on a TV show, I was tormented by that question. How is it possible for a frog to be morphed into a stone instead of rot like any organic body does?
Okay. So we're going to get into part 2, but just to clarify, because it's kind of got a little difficult as I was re-listening to it, because you don't have the gift of being able to look at what she's talking through, especially when they had pauses in the music. What she was showing you were pictures of mountains across the planet, and specifically she was focusing on North America. And so towards the end of the video, when she started talking about the Grand Canyon, she was showing some of those huge mountains in the Grand Canyon and how they are leveled across the top very, very evenly, okay? And she was saying that those particular structures that they are calling mountains actually have the chemical makeup of silicon. So what she's getting at in this first part of this video is telling you that the planet looked totally different than what they are telling you. So those things that they are calling mountains, a lot of them were actually not mountains. They are the leftovers from the silicon giant trees. And so she was giving the explanation of the Grand Canyon, the bullshit explanation of what they give us is that a meteor hit it and destroyed it, this, that, and the third. She was saying that is not actually accurate, that what it is, it's really a quarry. And we all know what a quarry is. It's leftover remnants of something that has been excavated, minerals that have been excavated. And so throughout this video, we're going to get into part 2 in a minute. You're going to hear them talk about how the planet looked much more differently with these big silicon trees, and they had very, very important job, meaning, and structure. And so you can, of course, go back and look at the video and see the visuals to match up to what she's speaking over. But immediately, as when I first looked at this video, immediately what popped in my mind was the movie Avatar. And that's what they were showing us in that movie. It wasn't about a mysterious planet land called Pandora somewhere else. What that was really talking about was this planet and how Mother Earth looked with the giant trees, and how the native people of the land, they enter and understood the importance of that particular ecosystem and the vibration rate of the system, and how the invaders came in and excavated. So I know I kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but I did want to give you a little bit more insight because you didn't have the gift of being able to see the visual. So I kind of wanted to talk through that so they'll get a lot more clearer in part 2. So before I go on, did anybody want to put something on it?
It sounded like that one where the man was talking about that the mountains look like toes and they're silicon and they're beings instead of mountains like we think they are. And then she said that everything on the planet has shrunk 20%. Mm-hmm. And so then we get to the giants, where she's talking about the giant, and that means remember we were talking about the rabbit hole? How come we're smaller now? And when I was telling you about the African Black Bible or something by Johnson, I forget the name of the thing. Nimrod was a giant, and I said, you know, what happened that we're now all these little midgets running around here? Did we fall through the rabbit hole? And so she's explaining to me. I heard that explanation that the composition has changed from silicon to carbon.
Yes, absolutely. You hit it right on the head. Yes.
So that makes a lot of understanding as to. I've been wondering, now, how did we get so small? But then we have to.
It would make a lot of sense, and it would line up with the whole giant story too.
Instead of all this fallen angel stuff they tell us.
Exactly. And think about it. We are the fallen angels.
Yeah. Mankind.
Are the fallen angels, a.k.a. angels of light.
Right.
Absolutely. I see you. I don't see her in the queue. She has to press *1. She's not showing up.
I wanted to say.
I see it. I see it now. Okay, sis, I'm coming to you in a second. I see her. She's there now. Go ahead on, Brother Sean.
Sand is basically silicone, right? It's silica based, right?
Yeah, that's what. Now I didn't know none of this to this video, but yeah. yes, sir.
So, considering sand doesn't grow, and considering no life can usually grow in sand, I mean, just thinking how the planet used to look.
Yep.
The sand came from all the trees being cut down.
Yes, when they and we're not going to get through the whole video tonight. I am going to play part 2, and those of you that want to continue with us, we're going to go into overtime. In 15 minutes, you're going to have 15 minutes. You're going to have to dial in to 929-477-3858, 929-477-3858. You're going to have 15 minutes, and the next clip I'm going to play is going to be at 15 minutes, so I want to give you that reminder. But yes, Brother Sean, and I'm not sure if we're going to get to that part that you just mentioned, but yeah, in the particular documentary, they were basically saying that is like the remnants, the leftovers from the silicon that was excavated.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they went even deeper and started talking about the volcanoes, that kind of blew my wig back too, because they were saying that the volcanoes were
not real.
Right, because they're like, what did they say? Like the waste. Yeah, landfills. Landfills. Yep, the waste landfills from the excavation and all of the shit that they used, and they pushed it up under there. Now, interestingly enough, I know we always twist and turn, but it always ties in. I ran across a video that talked about the landscape of New York back in the 1600s, and how all of New York was pretty much hills and land. And you know, we know now that doesn't exist today. And in a short amount of time, now this was back in the 1600s, so between the 1700s to the 1800s.
So was St. Louis.
And I'm going to say late 1700s. They excavated that entire New York area. Okay, now think back in the 1700s. Now just Work with me here a little bit now. You talking hills, real tall hills and mounds and shit. Trees. They excavated in that short amount of time all of that particular landscape to build up what came to known today as New York City. So it put me back in the mindset of this particular documentary saying that this shit has been done before, but it was on a grander scale, okay? And that's the hidden part of the true story of Mama Earth and the planet, on how these important silicon trees were excavated. So let me go to 980, and then we're going to get into part 2. So here we go. 980, your line is open.
Greetings of peace, love, and light. How are you, my beautiful goddess?
I am good. How are you, sis?
I am wonderful, sitting back enjoying the show, and it's like when you was playing the recording, I just closed my eyes and I could picture everything that she was saying.
Yes.
I was like, yes, I understand. I truly understand. Wanted to say I'm enjoying the show. I love you. And I wanted to share something. You know, you said something earlier, and I was like, wow, that's basically what I said today. On Facebook, I posted, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's just the things that are happening now. I mean, everybody that follow me on Facebook know that I love nature. I work in the country now, and the things that I am seeing, regardless of what they trying to do, Mama is taking over. I don't care what nobody say. I have this owl that follows me from Cherryville, North Carolina to Charlotte, and from Charlotte back to Cherryville. It is amazing. And when I don't pay him any attention, he goes, whoo, 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 like he's making me pay attention. I posted on Facebook, I had a woodpecker in my yard, on my tree. And I said, well, let me run in the house and get my camera. And he stayed right there. So Mama is definitely taking over. I tell Brother Sean all the time, it was 16 degrees outside. I walked outside with a wife beater on and some shorts, and I say, Sean, I'm not cold. It does not feel like it's 16 degrees out here. It is warmer than 16. Something just ain't right. Mama's heating up. Mama's about to take over, and she ain't putting up with this mess no more. And we as a people better be ready and lift up with her, because she's changing. She's letting us know that regardless of what they like, we got this fake snow in Charlotte today. I mean, I had never seen snow like this before. Never. You go outside and you can sweep it with a broom. And it was so fluffy. The other day I looked up and I was like, man, they spraying the sky. It's really bad. What is about to go on? 10 minutes later, I see on the news snow. And I told Brother John, I said, well, you know what? How can it snow when it's 50 degrees? It snowed here, and it was in the 40s.
That's crazy.
In the 40s. I know. So they are going hard. They know what's happening with Mama. So we as a people have to keep our vibrations high. You know, right now we're being distracted with these stupid sex dolls. We're being distracted with whether Trump is fat or not. We're being distracted with all this crazy stuff. I got into it in a group that's supposed to embrace us as a people. I put a comment, and they went crazy. I was like, oops. No more groups just for us, because they just as crazy as the rest of them. But we definitely have to keep our vibrations high. I want to thank you for always being there for support. I definitely want to send out love and light to Brother Sean because he definitely keeps me focused. I know sometimes I go a little left field, I go a little right field, but I always have you two to bring me back. You're my crypto sister. You're my crypto advisor. I could come to you when I want to talk about crypto. When I want to go to the opposite direction, I could go to Brother Sean, and I am so grateful. And I just wanted to know, has anybody else been experiencing being able to go back in time and realize that you're back in time? Or have you – I saw myself today as a little girl. I went back in time to when I was a little girl watching my grandmother cook. And I was like, why am I constantly being taken back in time? But I could also go forward in time and still be awake and know where I am and what's going on. Is anybody else experiencing that?
That's interesting that you say that. Yes, I would say I first started experiencing it around 2012, and that's when I was really getting heavily into spirituality and consciousness, etc. But I didn't know what it was. But then when I started studying, it became more apparent. But I agree with you. It's kind of ramped up a lot more here recently because, I mean, you know how it is, sis, how it's really, really vivid, really clear, and you can smell the smells.
Yep.
So, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think, now this just Rhonda's little 2 cents, so take it or leave it, family, for what you may. I think that we are more and more coming into using those powers. So as Mama raises her vibration, as we're raising our vibration, we're getting back those powers that we had at that higher state back when we had the silicon trees. And part of that was being able to shift different frequencies to different dimensions, because there is no concept of time.
Right.
It's just emitting a frequency to do different things. So that's just my 2 cents. But yes, I absolutely enter and understand what you are speaking on.
Good. So I'm not the only one. Because today I was so deep in my thoughts. It's like my thoughts were becoming thoughts, and the thoughts were becoming thoughts, and those thoughts were becoming thoughts. And my daughter was like, Mom, you need to listen to a lecture because your thoughts are about to drive you crazy. She said, this is how people get put in mental institutions. And I was like, okay, let me go find a lecture to listen to, because it's just like I had every thought created another thought that created another thought, and I just had so many thoughts, and I'm like, I got to control these thoughts, you know. And I said, I understand how people could lose it, because sometimes you go so far out there and you can't bring yourself back.
Right.
But I'm grateful that I have a powerful ancestor, my daughter. She definitely said to tell you and Daddy Sean that she loves you both. She's always
our baby girl. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I have to sometimes go and listen to her music, because she was years. I mean, the stuff that she sung about 4 years ago is coming to light now. You know, she always talked about there was going to be a lot of confusion, there was going to be a lot of death, there was going to be this. And there's so many people that are losing family members on Facebook. And, you know, regardless of what you say to them, even the ones that call themselves conscious, I always tell them, stop calling it a loss. You didn't lose anything. You gained the angel. You gained the ancestor. But they just don't get it. And she say, Ma, just keep putting the message out there, even if they're not listening to you, even if they're not liking it. Keep doing what you're doing, because you touching one person, and even if you touch one person, you helping a village. And with that being said, I would tell you, look, and then I'm going to let you go. I did a video one day. I did a video one day, and I started laughing because, you know that I go out there and I do the videos on crypto. I'm like, either you're with it or you're not, I don't care. So I do the videos. And I had to laugh at myself, because in the video I said, now this is going to blow your wig back.
And I have to give credit to Sis Saida, because she was the one that came up with that, and it just always tickled me because it just sums everything up. But yeah.
I was laughing. I looked and I said, did I just become Sister Rhonda?
Oh, that is so funny. It was wonderful hearing your voice, sis. I do want to say, you know, when you were making the point about, as you were listening to the first part of the video, when you closed your eyes and you could actually visualize it, you know, I really felt what you were saying, because when I looked at the documentary, I was literally crying, because it all started to click and make sense. And so now when I'm, you know, out and I'm looking at nature and I'm looking at different things, so I'm looking at the mountains, and I'm looking at those volcanoes, and, you know, looking at the sand, I particularly have to apologize to the mountains, and, you know, I'm apologizing to the trees, because now I can make that connection to see what they used to be and what their importance really is, and how that impacted all of us. Because as they were cut down, so were we cut down, so were Mama Earth cut down. So, you know, thank you for, you know, bringing in your visualization, because when I went through the video, that's exactly how I felt, and it really brought me to tears. It was quite emotional. So thanks for that.
Not a problem. Peace and love. Thank you for letting me kick it with y'all for a little while. I'm going to remain on the line, because I'm excited about part 2.
Okay. All right, sis. Love you much. Okay. Peace and love to you. And thanks for putting something on it. Okay. So if you're in the chat room, we're going into overtime. If you want to continue, dial 929-477-3858, 929-477-3858. You have 1 minute remaining. So we're going to go ahead on and kick it to part 2. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
There's one thing I want to bring out. One thing. Mm-hmm. In the book of Adam, they say it's Adam's book, but it has something to do with the tree. And he said that when he fell, you know, they just reached up and pulled the fruit down, right? Mm-hmm. Or whatever it was, actually fruit. I don't know what it was. And then they had to leave, and they went through a cave. And he said when he came out the cave and the land was barren before him, he said he looked back and he was looking at the roots of the same tree they ate from.
Whoa, now say that again. So they ate from this tree.
Right, the one they weren't supposed to eat from.
Right, the tree of knowledge.
Yeah, and then they had to leave. And they went through a cave. And they came out of the cave. And when they looked back, they could see the roots of the tree that they ate from. But they couldn't see the top of the tree anymore. He even mentioned the top of the tree, just the roots. Because his body had changed from the heavenly body that he was originally given. So now he couldn't see the top of the tree anymore. He could only see the roots.
Now, you know that's deep, right? So would that not explain? Now, I'm just playing, quote, quote, devil's advocate, Lucifer advocate. And if you listen to last week, you'll know what I mean by that. Could that be the, quote, quote, fall?
Yep.
The lowering of the vibration. So, in other words, he or they were bigger in size.
Yep. That's what I thought, too, when I heard it. I said, oh.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. And then also note I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's in the book of Adam and Eve. I think it's Adam and Eve, yeah.
Wow. And then remember in Avatar that the natives were giants. And they had the blue skin and all of that. And then the invaders were like, well, now we would say regular size, but now we know that isn't regular size. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so we're going to go into part 2. This is, once again, because if you get the opportunity, it's the total documentary is only 1 hour. It is extremely beautiful. The visuals in it are breathtaking. It is There Are No Forests on Earth, Wake Up. And this is off the YouTube channel Buddy Higgins. So I'm going to play part 2. We're not going to be able to get through it all tonight. But I do want to play part 2, and then I'm going to try to hit some other points. Here we go.
See what Wikipedia tells us. Special rare conditions must be met in order for the fallen stem to be transformed into fossil wood or petrified wood. In general, the fallen plants get buried in an environment free of oxygen, which preserves the organic structure and general appearance. I understand this is dry British humor. If not, I will try to explain. You need some spontaneous disaster. For example, a volcanic eruption, tsunami, clay rain, which would quickly cover the frog and mammoth and make conserves from them, where bacteria won't decompose the corpse to the state of stinking manure. In other words, to make the body petrified, you need to cover or engulf the body and to compact it. According to so-called scientists, the tissue was organic, and then it magically turned into silicon. SiO2. Remember this formula. If you have ever buried your home pets, you can quickly run and dig them out. Your beloved pet is petrified, and you can put his statue on your table. Want to reproach me for such black humor? Redirect that to the official science community, which sells us such bullshit. A dead body has only 2 options. Dry up like an insect in a piece of amber, or the second option, just simply rot. Organic bodies will never turn into rubble. Never. This absurdity is invented to hide the truth. Magical morphing into stone is a little thing. Transforming wood into semi-precious stones, this is where the lies and ignorance become uncontrollable. Tell me how a stick of wood can become a semi-precious stone. You may have no answer, but I do, and we will discuss this later. For now, let's analyze what these gems show. I do not know about you, but I am confused by 3 points. First of all, according to the official story, these trees lost in an unequal battle against a neighbor volcano. Attention, 225 million years ago. But wait, there's more! This wood not only burned in hell's fire, not only rotted into the wet ground, against all the laws of physics, chemistry, and biology, just transmorphed into precious gems. David Copperfield is nervously smoking on the sideline. But this is not the end. Trees are not broken. Trees are sawn into even, accurate pieces. Well, I want to know the name of this brand of chainsaw that Aborigines used for this. I am joking, of course, but the conclusion is that this is not a museum, but stage theater. These trees were sawn and brought here by someone. You know, only a true fool would believe in the magical transformation of wood into precious stones and gems. Here's another question. For what purpose did they make this circus with all these scattered pieces of silicon life form? And did you pay attention to how small these silicon trees are? They are incomparable, even with the sequoias of California. But this one is simple. They are not trees. They are trees' branches, giant silicon trees. And these trees were so big that American sequoias near them look like sticks near the baobab. And while tourists are freaking out over these precious gems, no one is paying attention to the background because everything is hidden in plain sight. To understand what I'm talking about, let's return to our favorite plot of grass. And I want to ask you, what do you see? A tree stump in the daisies? But I continue. This is mesa that was formed from the magnetic melt from the Earth's depths about 200 million years ago. Do not believe me? And now? Let me introduce to you, this is Devil's Tower, mesa, or so-called laccolith, that was formed from a magnetic melt from the Earth's depths about 200 million years ago. At least that's what Wikipedia tells us. And billions of people believe that this is mesa, laccolith, or a mountain. Really? Let's come closer to our tree stump to look at his fantastically inexplicable columns. Let's look in the Wikipedia ones again. Igneous rock is formed through the cooling and solidification of magma or lava. Really? What a smart magnetic melt! It's just stood still and froze in the appearance of perfect hexagonal column for 300 meters in the sky. You can synchronize your instruments with these miraculous columns. Were they squeezed out of cream injector, then tied in a bun like a broom, and then a big giant fan blew near to help the columns to curdle faster? Maybe the columns of Parthenon or Isaac's Cathedral were built in the same way. Gentlemen scientists, are you out of your mind writing this garbage? Humans, are you out of your mind believing this garbage? Claiming that this geometrical masterpiece appeared as the result of a lava fountain is the same bullshit as claiming that a racing car appears on the track because of an explosion at a Ferrari factory. Have you ever seen what a fountain of lava looks like? In those times, lava had artificial intelligence. Really? Comparative analysis. All columns are hexagonal. Why exactly hexagonal? Because the universe's masterpieces are built in this form. There are no snowflakes exactly the same, but all of them are in a perfect hexagonal shape. Bees, too, without the knowledge of mathematics, correctly identified that the regular hexagon has at least perimeter among all the other shapes of equal area, so you can fill this shape most efficiently. When bees build honeycombs, they instinctively try to make them as roomy as possible and spend as little wax as possible. Hexagonal shape is the most efficient, economical figure for building a honeycomb. Blind sheep cannot understand that our universe is fractal. That is why there is no difference in what scale you study it. In the scale of a mountain or the scale of a tree that everyone has outside their window. And now let's open a botany textbook. Let's find the structure of any plant and let's compare it with our giant stump. We won't go deep into this. We only want facts that fall into our hands from the stump's photos. So it will be useless to try to argue against those facts. I want to introduce you to the cross-section of a stem of flax. Well, gentlemen biologists, are you noticing anything? No? Look, it seems like honeycombs in the middle. Wowzers, and they are all hexagonal. Well, what a coincidence. If we remove skin around this flax, our stump skin is the same. Let's look at the small rocks around it, and guess what? Flax looks exactly like our stump from the bird's eye. They look identical, Exactly. The stump's fibers, like the fibers of the flax, has a hexagonal shape that is strictly preserved. It is geometrical the entire length of the stem, and that is as much as 384 meters. I want you to pay attention. The stump's fibers are even stricter in their proportion, as we learn from the botany textbooks. They are no different for the whole length, but are relative to each other. It is a branch of armature hexagonal cross-section after leaving the metal rolling mill. The fibers are not attached to each other since they freely exfoliate and fall as the stone erosion goes. Each fiber out of our stump is covered with a thin skin, exactly like fascia, a thin sheath of fibrous tissue enclosing a muscle or other organ. As you see, petrified skin contacting winds and moisture is cracking, exfoliating, and showering, and this is direct evidence that the fibers of the stump consist of at least two components placed inside each other. Fibers do not go into the ground vertically. They gradually bend to transform into the root system like every tree does. As you can see, the official story of spontaneous and accidental solidification of lava is 100% bullshit and falling apart quickly. In 1977, Hollywood made a film called Close Encounters of the Third Kind, with Devil's Tower playing the main role, where we were told 100 times that this is a mountain where we can meet aliens, but this garbage is suitable for fools only. But where were your eyes, gentlemen? Hey, biologists, geologists, paleontologists, are you here? Do you study the world in a welder mask? And now, let's find out the height of the tree, which was a stump one day. Let's use the formula that I mentioned earlier. The diameter of our stump is 300 meters at the base. So if we calculate 300 over 20, we will get the height of, are you ready? 6 kilometers, 19,685 feet. Just think about it. Everything is learned in comparison. I think we can put a big fat dot in here. Devil's Tower is a giant stump of a giant silicon tree with all the attributes of a normal stump that everybody's seen. But we should not underestimate the matrix that keeps all the cattle in the stables. I am sure that after such clear evidence, there will still be deep sleeping people who will ask for more. If you think that that's all my arguments, I want to disappoint you because I have so many trump cards up my sleeve, and I will enjoy every moment that I will throw them on the table. Well, we figured out everything about this stump. Let's move to another one. Yes? And you thought that this was the only one? You just need to remove your blinkers and you will see so much. Let me introduce to you Giant's Causeway in Ireland. Notice something familiar? Take a closer look. Again, hexagonal columns. Wow. If you did not notice the similarity to the Devil's Tower's fibers, you must be 100% blind. This is the same giant stump, but now it did not come out of the ground. This tree grew right on the sea's shore. The Giant's Causeway consists of almost 40,000 columns of such geometrical proportions that all the bees in the world would be jealous. Of course, all nerds declared it to be a national nature reserve. Like I mentioned before, as one person named Wake Up Human said, it is an apogee of the cynicism to name quarry waste as a national park. In which connection is quarry waste here? I will say later, but Guess what the official science bleats about this Irish stump? Giant's Causeway is an area of about 40,000 interlocking basalt columns that result of an ancient volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption! Please tell me how to stay calm and not erupt in a fountain of swear words in the direction of this science society. It is hard, very hard, but I will try because our enemies only want us to do it. I have only 2 questions. First of all, how many years was C.C. Campbell in a coma? And second, why do bees' honeycombs not declared as a result of an ancient volcanic eruption? Because they are not distinguishable at all. It's no less strange why street sidewalk tiles are not declared as a result of it.
Okay, so that was part 2. So just a little breakdown of what she was talking about, because again, you don't have the luxury of seeing the visuals to it. So those particular mountains, and I'm using the quote sign, that they are putting up there as a wonder of the world, this, that, and the third, and the one Devil's Mountain here in the States in California, and I can't remember what part of California it's in, but it was featured, as she said, in that movie Close Encounter of the Third Kind. Go look it up on Google. Look at pictures of it and zoom in on it, and you will see those particular lines that she is talking about. And you will clearly see where it looks like what we consider today tree bark. You'll clearly see that. And a lot of those particular mountains, you can see that same set of lines in them looking like tree barks. So, and that Devil's Mountain, again, has that flat top. So if you think back to what I said earlier, so meaning it was excavated. It was literally cut down. So the other part of this particular documentary, if you get a chance, because the last part is almost 20 minutes, we're not going to have time to do that, but they also went into the actual stones and the crystals, okay? And we were talking just about crystals earlier tonight when the sis called up and was talking about the EMPs flying around, and Sis Corley reminded me, and Sis Sandra, crystals, okay? Think about where crystals come from. They have to dig them up, right? They dig them up from the ground, okay? So in the video, they talk about how these giant silicon trees had a root system that connected to these crystals, made up of these crystals. And so anybody that heard of the giant crystal cave in Mexico, where you literally, oh my goodness, and it's quartz crystals at that. They're so huge. I can't even describe it. You have to go online and look at it. So anyhow, what the video is basically getting at, that these silicon trees, underneath them, their root system, were all of our precious crystals that us that are in tune in the spiritual community, we use that today. So our, the quartz, the any of the precious one, the citrine, any of them were actually a part of the root system to these silicon trees, and if anybody knows anything about crystals, you know that they emit frequencies. And each crystal has a special property to do certain things. Okay? So it would make perfect sense that these crystals were a part of the root system to the giant silicon trees, emitting the frequencies across the planet. Okay, so I'll pause in case somebody want to put something on that.
Yeah. I mean, they really have to check out the video, because this version of the video, she's actually just redoing, translating the video, because the original uploader, I believe, is German.
Okay, I thought it was Russian, but okay, yeah, it
Russian,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
German, Russian, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they really have to see the visuals in order to really grasp the gravity of what we're trying to relate to them in just words.
Yes.
Yes. It really is mind-blowing.
It is. I literally, like I said, I cried when I was watching the video because it clicked. It made perfect sense. And again, immediately what came to mind was that Avatar movie, because remember in that movie when they were walking in the quote forest among those silicon giant trees, remember when they foot hit the ground, did not the ground emit, it lit up?
Mm-hmm.
That represents the crystals, the root system that supported those silicon trees. Okay? And that is why today these crystals are so special and important to us, and why we are so connected to them and use them for certain things. I'm sorry, sis, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was wondering if I was hearing correctly. When she was talking about the honeycomb patterns and stuff, it kept reminding me of the Fibonacci system. And so I was, because, organisms of higher, all organisms have it, but if you do a tree ring, like we call a tree, it's just a ring. And I guess if you magnify it on a microscope, you may see the combination and stuff, but I think because these mountains or entities that existed were more higher advanced level, they had the sequence of the Fibonacci's, like a real organism that was alive. I was kind of hearing that she was talking without visually seeing it, but I was trying to see it within my mind when she was talking.
Gotcha.
Am I correct?
Yep. No, you're right on the money. That when she was speaking of the honeycomb and how that's tied into the fabric of life itself, and you can do a little research yourself on the whole Fibonacci spiral curve, and it's interesting, sis, because I tell this story often that when I first started getting into crystals. And by the way, as you were talking, something flew around in my office. I don't know what the hell it was. Made me damn jump. But anyhow, so
remind me of that
I tell a story often about the crystals because when I was first getting into crystals, I went to the store, picked out the crystals that resonated with me, and I wanted the raw crystals. so I didn't want the polished ones. And still to this day, I have a couple of polished ones, but my preference are the raw ones. So meaning they haven't been shined up and all of that, because I think they're prettier. That's just me. But I feel that they're also more powerful. So I bought this small box of crystals, different crystals. It was quartz in there. It was a bunch of them. So I'm just getting into crystals. I didn't know that much about them, and I was actually out of town. So I laid them. I was in a hotel room, and I laid them on the nightstand next to me in the hotel, laid down and went to sleep. When I tell you all that was popping in my quote dreams, oh, you know what that was? That was flying around? It's a ladybug.
Oh, that's supposed to be luck or something, isn't it?
I don't know where the heck she came from. It's freezing outside.
Snow too, right? Wow.
Hey,
Yeah.
excuse me, lady. Excuse me. They were on the movie Ferngully. I remember when you were talking about the forest and the crystals and stuff. There's a scene, I'm watching it on YouTube right now. There's a scene where the witch or some woman of the forest gives a girl from Ferngully a crystal, and she gives her the power of the crystal. And I guess Maggie gives her powers to Crystal Ferngully. So they were already orchestrating and telling us that the power is in the crystal. You just got to know how to use it.
Yeah, like the crystal. What is that? The fortune teller used to use the crystal all the time.
Right, the crystal ball, right?
Crystal ball.
Yeah.
Right. Now here's the thing. So I'm laying down the crystals on the nightstand, and all in my dreams, family, I see all of these geometric shapes. I mean, all of just different ones coming at me, and then right behind it, different mathematical numbers. It was so strong that it woke me up out of my sleep, and instantly I knew I got to move these crystals. They're emitting this. These crystals are emitting this. I had to get up, take the crystals from the nightstand next to me and move it way across the room. That's how I was able to go to sleep. So I'm saying all that to say these things that we are talking about with the crystals and the planet, you know, they are the hidden history and the secrets and the power on Mama Earth.
And secrets to the future, too, because they connect to the history of the Earth and the future of the Earth.
Exactly. That's why that crystal ball, and thank you, brother, for bringing that up, that story, and sis, you connecting about the crystal ball. Yeah, why did this ladybug crawl up on my book and is sitting here looking at me now?
Just like the lady was just talking about the owl that follows her. And I remember her.
I put her down some little water in case she was thirsty in the little cap. But I mean, just sitting here chilling. Oh, wow. So sorry, I didn't mean to get off track. So, yeah, just like that crystal ball, sis, that you described, because crystals, especially quartz crystals, and I learned this from Dr. Blair, they are conductors. So not only are they conductors of light, they're conductors of energy as well. They hold information.
Yeah.
Okay. So those entities that excavated the silicon trees and disconnecting the silicon trees from that root system, which are are the crystals knew exactly what the hell they were doing, because that lowered the vibration of the planet.
So that takes us back to a time before the Caucasian. So
yes,
we can't blame him for that.
Yep.
Or the invasion.
No, we can't. Yep.
They ain't had the technology or the knowledge to be able to do that.
No, and you had to have some hell of a technology to excavate those silicon trees.
That's true. I was thinking about that.
And you had to have the knowledge to know that it had that crystal root system beneath it. And which is one of the reasons why, when you talked about earlier, sis, and y'all, just to update on the ladybug, now she crawled up on the cap, and she's drinking the water. So don't tell me we're not connected to stuff. I purposely set that there in a little bitty cap, because I'm like, she's probably thirsty.
That's what's up.
Stuff out there.
Yeah. So she's drinking. So, okay. So, yes, Brother Sean, very good point. Somebody had to have known that knowledge.
And you were saying something, I said something earlier about what now?
Oh, Tesla. So Tesla, they suppressed Tesla's technology. Of course, it was a monetary reason to it, because Tesla made it clear that you cannot charge for what the planet has freely, okay? So Tesla was going to tap into the energy that naturally floats across the plane, and so now we know that energy, of course, it comes from Mama Earth, Aurora borealis, but also we know the crystals as well, because they emit certain frequencies, okay? But they shut Tesla down from a spiritual perspective, because just think about it. If we did not have this electric shit, which does the opposite, it lowers the vibration frequency, but we are getting the energy naturally from the planet, that would have raised everyone's vibration a lot sooner.
Did you know this lady I was the lady I was telling you about, the one that was in the fires and stuff and the lightning? She was saying that PG&E, one of the persons that's on the board, is a Rothschild.
That's Procter & Gamble, PG&E, right? If I'm remembering
correctly. No, that's the electric company.
Oh, okay. They got different names. Okay.
Over here.
Well, but yeah, I'm sure they're always on the board of these electric companies.
And that's why we can't get out from under these wires, because they are part of that deal.
Right. And it's interesting, because even with the stuff that Elon Musk is doing, we all know that, study the spiritual side, that it's nothing new, that he just got that from Tesla, okay?
Tesla.
But that's by design, family. Let's be clear, because just like we know, or some of us are learning, that Mama's Earth vibration is rising, they know that too. So that's why they are now starting to talk about this alternative energy. You know why? Because the other shit is not going to work. It's not going to work.
No, it's not.
So
they're even coming out with it.
They're trying to get into the alternative energy, using magnetic, this, that, and the third.
And that AI technology, so they can substitute out human work factors, because human humans are inefficient to carry out what they want to accomplish.
Well,
so they're doing all these.
That's one part of it. That's one part of what they, quote, quote, think they, quote, quote, are going to do. Here's the flip side of that. Where we are going, because remember, we've been in a prison, per se.
Right.
And probably at the lowest level that we've ever been. We are going to the point where there will be no concept of, quote, quote, working to live. That's what I am seeing, the concept of the AI. Okay, so now, of course, they're going to try to implement it where it replaces humans, this, that, and the third. But I'm seeing the flip side of how it's going to be reversed on them, because it's going to be taken over to totally shut down the system of you working to earn a living. Because folks are going to wake up to see that there was never a shortage on the plane to begin with.
Right.
There's not even a shortage now at our lowest vibration state. Everything we need is already being provided.
Exactly.
The concept of scarcity is man-made. So
And
now
space.
what I'm seeing is this AI shit that they're trying to implement to replace people, it's going to backfire. Because what we're going to use that as a tool to wake the people up, you don't need any of that shit.
Nope.
You don't
Sure
need
don't.
their banking system. Create your own. You don't need to go work for somebody for 9 to 5. Stop going to get loans and shit from them. You don't need it. That's how it's going to backfire on them.
And people don't need to become part biotic to participate. And that's one of the things they're trying to get people to do.
Right. And again, those that don't have their frequency raised up enough, they're going to follow whatever they put out there. And and Brother Sean brought this up eloquently. There will be destruction. There will be death. Everybody is not going to make it, because this is an energy vibration thing. So I don't give a damn what, quote, quote, they are going to do. They are not going, cannot and will not be able to resonate at that high frequency level. All of that shit is being switched around and clearly exposed that there is no scarcity. You don't need all of this bullshit. Matter of fact, it's everything that we, quote, quote, have. We really don't have shit.
No, we don't.
Because it's inferior.
That's true, and it's all an illusion.
It's all an illusion. So, but very, very good point, sis. Very good point. Okay, so I'm not going to play that last 20 minutes of that video, but I do encourage the family to go look at the video yourself. It's There Are No Forests on Earth, Wake Up, off of the YouTube channel, Buddy Higgins. It is beautifully, beautifully, beautifully done. You won't regret it. You'll truly, from that point forward, get a true understanding of the hidden history of the planet. Now, they're not going to talk about the reason why it was done. They're just telling you that it was done. So I'm just bringing from a spiritual perspective the only logical reason to me why it was done. So just a second. That's interesting. The video started talking to me. It just jumped up and popped on. Okay. All right, I got a lot of stuff going on tonight. But it's all good.
What's happening to me lately?
It might be Shay.
Yes, things are happening. And I'm like, I didn't do that. How did that come on?
Sitting here and it's like, nah. And I'm like, okay, that's not what I touched, but hey, I take it. It's all good. Okay. I love you too, baby girl. That's Shay kicking off stuff. It's all good.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next thing I want us to talk about is about the concept of time.
Oh.
Hold on a second, family. Okay, so Brother Sean, you have always talked about the concept of time. I used to hear you bring this into play every time when we went down that rabbit hole of time and of this and of that and to do this, that, and the third, and you would always bring it back into perspective. There's only the now.
It's gonna work better.
Mm-hmm.
It's only the concept of now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry.
Upon further pondering, though.
Yes.
Everything we do is in the past. The minute you think about something and attempt to do it, it's already the past because your thoughts put it in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always existing in the past. I mean, what we do that's considered to be the present moment is the actual act of being. But everything is from a past perspective.
Yes.
Even what we think is the future. When it gets here, that very next moment is the past.
That's right.
So we're presently in the past. Now is the past. So that sort of correlates with Sister Corley was saying as far as for going in the past and knowing that you're in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We have to realize now that we're in the past, because if this is something that we created and we're following the script,
that's right,
purpose, then it already happened.
That's right. That's right. Very good, very eloquently put. And I know I've said this a bunch of times on various shows, and I give credit to a brother, and I don't even know where that brother is. He kind of dropped off the map, but he used to have his own blog talk show. He called himself Dr. Montois. He had a bunch of aliases. Did a show called A Nigga Church. He was off the chain, but very, very smart brother. But he brought up the point, and I never, ever forgot that. He was the first one to make me think of time in a totally different fashion, because he said even the word time is emit, spelled backwards. So once again, hidden in plain sight. So they're telling you that time is really, you're emitting a certain frequency, or a certain frequency is being emitted. That's what really time is about. So just real quick, I ran across this article off of express.co.uk. So it's out of the UK. and it's called Time is Not Real. Physicists show everything happens at the same time. So this was published on December 3rd, 2016 by Sean Martin. Time is not real. It is a human construct to help us differentiate between now and our perception of the past. An equally astonishing and baffling theory states. The concept of time is simply an illusion made up of human memories. Everything that has ever been and ever will be is happening right now. Time is the theory according to a group of esteemed physicists who aim to solve one of the universe's mystery. Most people do not even consider the concept of time, but there is nothing in the laws of physics to state that it should move in the forward direction that we know. So now I'm going to say that again because I thought that was one of the most honest things and powerful things that I have run across in the quote mainstream article in a while. Most people don't even consider the concept of time, but there is nothing in the laws of physics to state that it should move in the forward direction that we know. The laws of physics are symmetric, ultimately meaning that time could have easily moved in a backward direction as it does forward. Indeed, some adherents to the Big Crunch theory say time will run backwards when the universe stops expanding and starts contracting back in on itself. This conundrum as to why we interpret time in a forward motion has led scientists to question why. Inevitably, some have concluded that time is simply human construct. They argue that there is a block universe, says Coralie Block. You catch that? They argue that there is a block universe where time and space are connected, otherwise known as space-time. The theory, which is backed up Einstein's theory of relativity, states that space and time are part of four-dimensional structures where everything that has happened has its own coordinates in space-time. This would allow everything to be real in the sense that the past and even the future are still there in space-time, making everything equally important as the present. Okay. Massachusetts Institute of Technology physicist Max Tegmark told Space.com, "We can portray our reality as either a three-dimensional place where stuff happens over time, or as a four-dimensional place where nothing happens, block universe. And if it really is the second picture, then change really is an illusion, because there's nothing that's changing. It's all there, past, present, future. We have the illusion at any given moment that the past already happened and the future doesn't yet exist and that things are changing. But all I'm ever aware of is my brain state right now. The only reason I feel like I have a past is that my brain contains memories." Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. You can continue up the article. It wasn't that much longer, so I did just want to give you all a flavor of how these different things are starting to pop up, some of this hidden, quote, history. And I just found that very, very interesting that in the spiritual community, we always talk about now, the concept of now, that past, present, and future are just frequencies that you tap in. So I found it very, very interesting that this article admits that, and then they go in so far, they didn't go in deep enough, of course, of talking about that three-dimensional thinking, that everything is linear. And if you look at it from a four-dimensional standpoint, how everything is happening at once. So notice that they're even using the concept of dimensions. We would never hear mainstream quote, quote, media using that. And even with them bringing out the four dimensions, of course, that's even lower than where we are, because we're really at a minimum of 5. Okay. So I'll pause right there in case somebody wants to put something on that, because I know we're winding down time. We're going to have to pick back up next week with the other things.
I just wanted to say that gives the validity to the fact that we are creators.
Yes.
And whatever we think at that time, it is already so, always will be, whatever we want, because we're the creators. Because we manipulate it.
That's right.
Time doesn't manipulate us, we manipulate it.
The frequency, yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Sean, did you?
Yeah. Remember when seconds used to be on the Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, how you could accurately tell time?
Yes,
time
I
is
did.
Sped. You can't even do that with a clock or your watch anymore. Time is sped up. That's also part of their deception.
Yes.
You know, to make people think that they are ascending. You know, the ones that are caught up in the false light, that following after certain people and thinking that certain levels are it, not knowing that we're limitless. There's no limit.
Absolutely.
And as long as we keep falling off into their concept of time and these labels, we limit ourselves.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Excellent, excellent point. So even with that concept of in the quote, quote, spiritual community, we're going to the 5th dimension, that's even limiting, because it's bigger than that. We should be graduating those that, you know, truly say they want to be free. And by any means, you don't have to follow this construct. I'm just putting it out there so we can start thinking that how truly limitless you are. So even the concept of, well, we just left 3D, we're in 4, now we're in 5. What I'm saying is even beyond that. It is limitless. And only you place those limitations around you. It was a post that one sister posted. Dang, I hope I can find it. But she basically was breaking down all of these particular titles that folk put on themselves. So, you know, I'm a Nuwabian, I'm a Moor, I'm a Christian, I'm a Buddha, I'm black, I'm white, I'm this, I'm that. So, you know, it was a list of these particular titles. And on the particular meme, it said, you know, I care not about your titles. We in the spirit world care not about your titles. We don't look at your titles. We look at your frequency, because that tells us your true soul. So this is the point where we are at in this particular age. this particular frequency, because Momma is study raising, and you have the opportunity to be limitless and raise as well. So the concept of, well, I got to join this group to do this. I got to join that group to do that. I got to wait on this person to do this. None of that's relevant. What's relevant is your level of vibration. You control that. So you can create whatever you want to create. You can ascend, if you want to use that term, ascend to the highest level you want to ascend. Come back down to whatever level you want. This is what this quote, quote, new age is about. Okay, so just know you're not trapped or put a rope around you to wait for a group of collective people that's waiting on the fifth dimension. No. You have the power to move beyond to whatever you want. Okay, there is no concept of time. It's all about the frequency. So I know we're going to get cut off. We're going to pick back up. Next week we'll conclude. I do want to talk about those fake pyramids. And then Brother Black's going to be back next week. We're going to talk about current events and kind of have a open forum as well. Sis, you have last words for the family. We literally only have 2 minutes.
No, I took the last words last week, so Brother Sean,
okay.
I passed that.
Okay, Brother Sean.
Love and wholeness.
All right, family. I want to thank you all very much. We will be back next week with Brother Black. So I'm going to say peace and love, and I'm trying to rock out with some music, y'all. We'll probably get cut off, but we will be back next week. So with that said, peace and love.